Mmm. Oh, God, I love coffee. Hello, folks. Dom Lawson here. Metal Hammer bloke and whatever. Welcome to another thrilling is the word, Iron Sandwich, wherein I talk about stuff and then I go away again at the end. It's great. Basically, there's no albums coming out at this time of year, or at least nothing I can be bothered to talk about. So I'm going to do the hugely self-indulgent, egotistical thing and whip you through my top 10 metal or metal-related albums of 2016. Which may or may not have been published. I know my top 5 has been published in the magazine. I mean, legitimately people could say, well, why are you doing this? Well, it's called content. I'm just filling some space. That's all it is. But just in the unlikely event that any of you actually read the magazine or even know who I am and have read any of my stuff, then you might be vaguely interested in my top 10 albums of the year. You might not. You're probably not, in fact. But, bollocks to you. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Yes, but before that, I'm just going to deal with a letter that we got at Metal Hammer. Oh, it's brilliant, this letter. I'm not going to tell you who sent it. Well, you won't know them. Unless it's someone famous from a band. I think it seems unlikely. But anyway, where do you start with some people? Anyway, I'll just read you this. It's no secret magazines mark up in favour of bands, and bands doesn't have an apostrophe, when reviewing albums. The grammar in this is terrible. I'm going to have to kind of negotiate my way through it. Even so, how does New Metal Hammer, zinger, justify with a straight face saying Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct was the 10th best album of 2016, when Dom Lawson gave it 7 out of 10 as opposed, that's not a word, to the 5 or 6 it actually merited? Well, firstly, unknown contributor, I did give it 7 out of 10. I stand by 7 out of 10 for the Metallica album, and judging by the general consensus on the record from everything I've heard from a lot of people, I've got it about right. So if you think it's a 5 or a 6, that's lovely. Write your own review. What are you on about? Also, this idea that the album review's been marked up in some way. By who? I wrote 7 out of 10 at the bottom of the review, and then I sent it in, and then Metal Hammer published it, and whoa, look, it says 7 out of 10, honestly. Really think that we've got time to sit there having a committee about every bloody album, even a Metallica one, Fact is, really big bands quite often get positive reviews. That's true. We know there's a bargain between the media and the superstars, but you have to be quite nice to them, otherwise they don't talk to you. That's fair, So the chances are the album will be given to somebody to review who is, broadly speaking, favourable to that band. That's how it works. But that's as cynical as it gets, 99.9% of the time. And to be honest, giving me the Metallica album to review is not the safe option, because I haven't liked anything they've done for 25 years, or certainly not to the point where I'd actually listen to it for fun. There are bits here and there that I don't mind, but, So you're just talking out your arse, mate, really. Worse still, Megadeth's far superior Dystopia didn't even get a mention. Well, that's because we only published our top 5s in the magazine. Everyone contributed a top 20. Megadeth did quite well. They were in mine. Twit, I'm going to tell you exactly where. They were number 13 in my top 20. Metallica, nowhere to be seen. So that's your theory down the toilet. Twit. Final thought. The best album of 2016, Vector's Terminal Redux. Thankfully, everything Korn isn't. Well, they're not everything Korn isn't. I mean, Korn isn't a hippopotamus. It isn't an oxbow lake. I don't really understand what you mean. I mean, I like Korn and Vector. I don't want to meddle for that, but chill out, mate. Oh, you just can't get the staff these days. But hey, four morons. That's Team Hammer to you and me. 4 morons. That's Team Hammer to you and me. Can't be wrong. Mate, you're the one who's just sent us a letter with literally no grammar in it, spelling mistakes, apostrophes where none should exist. It's taken me 10 minutes to unpick it. Really? What can I say? I don't want to be rude to people who read the magazine, but I don't even think he does. I think maybe he does. If you hate the magazine that much, mate, don't buy it. There are lots of people who do like it, and that can cope with the idea that somebody's written a review of something that's slightly more positive than... if I'd given the Metallica album 10 out of 10, you'd have a point. It's clearly not a 10 out of 10. But to give it 7 and then for you to get all upset, honestly, this country, honestly, assuming you're from this country, ridiculous. Anyway, so yes, my top 10 albums of the year. I've already wasted 5 minutes having a pop at some bell end. So yeah, this is my top 10 metal or metal-related albums of the year. It's not my top 10 albums of the year. That's different. I like more than one style of music, as do most people. But in the context of, being a Metal Hammer bell end, here we are. This is my top 10 albums of the year. Right. At number 10, I wish I had that music. That's what I want. Just imagine that's happening. At number 10 is Bolzer from Switzerland or New Zealand via Switzerland, one of the two. An incredible record. I mean, very, very much a hyped band in some ways. It's funny how the underground metal scene likes to think of itself as above things like kind of commerciality and all the rest of it. But when a band gets hyped, it works in exactly the same way as it does in the mainstream. And Bolzer have certainly become one of those bands that the underground diehards really love. And I include myself in that really, and also the hipster contingent really dig them, and they're for a two-piece as well, they're having quite a major impact, I think. And Hero is just a fantastic record. I think it would appeal as much to people who like Mastodon and Gojira as it would to fans of Immortal. It's big, epic, soulful, extreme metal. I wouldn't even call it black metal, really. They've got a very distinctive sound. Anyway, so hurrah for them. That's Bolzer at number 10. Sorry, I'm going to have to read this off my bloody laptop because my memory won't hold the information for long enough. Sorry. Right, so where's the... You see, it's Microsoft Excel I've got it on. It's our Ponzi Reviews editor making me use technology. At number 9, this is... Gojira, okay, is my number 9. I'm going to wave the album at you because that's how this should work. Just in case you've never seen it, I've got it down here. Gojira, there we go. Gojira on the old vinyl there. Bit of a rip at the top. Not too impressed with that, but yeah, brilliant. I mean, it's Metal Hammer's number 1 album of the year. Justifiably so, I think, in many ways. As a kind of, objectively, I think you can look at the year and say which was the album that had the greatest impact and got the most positive reviews and all the rest of it, and I think Gojira is that record, so absolutely fine. It's amazing. Why is it only my number 9? I don't know. It's not a criticism. That's what cracks me up. People say, how could you put that there and that there? They're in my top 10 of the year. They're albums that I love. That it's a process of splitting hairs, making a top 20 list of the year. Do I prefer that one slightly more than that one? I don't even think about it that hard. But the Gojira album is incredible, so it's my number 9. But I think all the albums above it are as good, if not slightly better. So that's all, in terms of how much I've played them and how much joy they've brought into my horrible and disappointing existence. Number 8 is Vector. Now I'm going to show you this one as well. Vector. Now this is proper metal. All the, is it coloured? No, it's not coloured vinyl, is it? It's just boring old black vinyl. It's a beautiful thing anyway. That's Terminal Redux by Vector. I mean, in the unlikely, if you're really into your metal... Sorry, I spat at the laptop then, that's a bit unpleasant. If you're really into metal, you will already know about this, but they're amazing. It's ridiculously fast and brutal thrash, and I'd say the thrash elements have kind of got that German vibe about them, kind of Destruction, Early Creator, that kind of stuff. But it's hugely proggy, it's bonkers science fiction concepts, and the songs are incredibly elaborate with loads of really clever melodic stuff and super brutal, and just an amazing band. I can't recommend them highly enough. All their albums are brilliant. And number 7, I don't have anything to show you because I don't have a CD or vinyl of my number 7, but my number 7 is Evergrey. The album's called The Storm Within. That came out earlier in the year, as indeed did all of these. I don't know why I said that. Obviously they're albums from this year, you twit. But yes, Evergrey, Storm Within. I mean, not a band that the Fashion Victim contingent will be interested in, of course, because they're a proper heavy metal band. Melodic and have a man who sings properly rather than whining. But they're fantastic, Evergrey. I mean, just the most incredible songwriters. It's very emotional and melodramatic music, but it's super heavy, very, very up to date in terms of the production and the riffing and everything else. But just massive tunes. I think as likely to appeal to someone who likes Alter Bridge as it would to somebody who likes Maiden and Priest. Just an amazing band. And their second, I think, near flawless record in a row. The previous one, Hymns for the Broken, was incredible too. This one even better, I think. At number 6, again, I don't have a CD or vinyl yet. I'm going to have to spend some Christmas vouchers or something. Candiria, While They Were Sleeping. Could easily have been my number 1, and I'll be honest with you, any of this next 6 could have been my number 1. It's pretty arbitrary, really, the way it's worked out. But yeah, Candiria, I banged on about them on here anyway. It's an incredible band from New York, really eclectic, mixing together metal and hardcore and punk and jazz and hip hop and all these things, but in a really clever way, with tons of attitude, really intelligent band, really daring musically, and very experimental as well. It's not just a kind of cut and paste job. It's super intuitive and natural, I think. And While They Were Sleeping is, I think, their best album since I don't know, their early days. Really, it's an incredible record. And like I say, it could have been my number 1. Number 5. Number 5 is Opeth. I mean, I don't need to show you the Opeth album cover because I'm sure you've seen it, but I'm just showing off all the records I've got. But there's Opeth on the vinyl there, which of course is the only format that Michael Ockerfeldt will accept. He doesn't even believe that compact discs exist. I had a conversation with him. It's a strange man. He thinks they're a fiction. Well, there you go. So that's incredible. I mean, Opeth, one of my all-time favourite bands, top 5 kind of stuff. And in a way they can do no wrong, but then that's because they do no wrong. Every single album is different from the previous one, but it contains so many elements that are familiar. It's adventurous, it's bold, it's at times mischievously experimental, but other times just gorgeously melodic. You can't, I don't know. I saw them at Wembley, or half of Wembley as we called it at the time, and they were incredible. They're on brilliant form at the moment. It's the best lineup the band has ever had. So Sorceress, brilliant record. And number 4 is Ishan, Arctis, with a little full stop there. I'm not sure why there has to be a full stop there. I might have to ask him. Apart from the lovely artwork, it's a rather beautiful thing. His 6th solo album, and they've all been great. It's just, again, one of those people. I'm such a massive fan of everything he does. It's, maybe one day he'll make a terrible record and then I should laugh at him. But I can't see it. He's just a hugely talented person with, a lot of brilliant ideas, but a really distinctive musical vision. So, yes, there are still elements of black metal in his sound, but there's 101 other things going on as well. And I think this is one of his finest albums. I think if you pointed a gun to my head, I'd say After is still my favourite. But to be honest, Das Seelenbrechen and this one are up there. Just phenomenal records, really. So that's my number 4. My number 3. It was a wonderful moment this year in the Metal Hammer office when this became an almost daily soundtrack. My number 3 is Grand Magus, Sword Songs. Now, I know there will be people who'll go, yeah, it's good fun, but it's not. It's not just good fun. It's heavy metal, for fuck's sake. I know that it's not you're not allowed to fly the flag for heavy metal like you used to be able to without being called a metal elitist. But I'm a metal elitist. I love traditional heavy metal more than most things. It doesn't mean that I don't like anything else. It's just I don't see why we have to kind of denigrate brilliant music like this just because it's supposedly old-fashioned. You don't do that with punk. You don't do that with hip-hop. Oh God, your hip-hop's been going for 30 years. It's boring now. Well, it's not, is it, if you're into it? And I'm into this. So how do you like that? Grand Magus' best album yet, definitely. It's the one that sounds most like Manowar, which is probably why I love it so much. And it contains, I think, one of the songs of the year, Forged in Iron, Crowned in Steel, which is just a glorious thing. 2 cover versions at the end. I only just spotted that there are bonus cover tracks on this. In for the Kill, is that the Budgie song? Don't know. Stormbringer, of course, presume that's Deep Purple. Brilliant. Heavy metal is the best thing. There you go. That's my number 3. My number 2, probably the only surprise in the list really, is this, Lord of War. Just sometimes you hear a new band, and everything just sounds perfect, and it's like, oh, well, I've been waiting for this. Brilliant. And this album did it for me. Again, probably not on the trendy folks' radar at all, but it's on Unique Leader Records. It's called Suffer. I can't recommend it highly enough. If you like death metal or deathcore, extreme metal, totally brutal, but with tons of hooks, amazing grooves, brilliant, just fabulous. It's just one of those albums, everything about it I loved. And although it's in some ways meat and potatoes, it's it's not an unfamiliar sound. They do it so well, and their songs are so much better written than the vast majority of their peers. Just incredible. Saw them live recently. Brilliant live too. My number one, I have on the compact disc, if I can find that. My number one, which it's only a controversial choice if you're one of those people that thinks it's big and impressive to have a pop at everything all the time. But to me, it's not a controversial choice at all. King 810. I don't know why I'm bothering to show you that, because that's literally just... Oh no, can you see the K? There it is. There's the K. Yes, La Petite Mort, or A Conversation with God. I did the Iron Sandwich about this record. It's just a phenomenal thing. Just an extraordinary piece of work, and I think, it's very easy. They're an easy band to take a superficial pop at. I understand that, because if you just read the surface, then you're not getting what it's about at all, and so you probably would think, this is a bit, but it's not. It's incredible. David Gunn is, like I've said it over and over again, and I'll keep saying it, is utterly unique within his generation of bands, in that he's got an incredible amount to say, and it goes way beyond the guns and violence thing that people like to point to. It's just an extraordinary record that I've listened to over and over and over again. It's a very complete record, which is why I love it so much. It is, that old cliche of the musical journey, but it is, you put it on at the beginning and listen to it all the way through at the end, preferably without distraction. And I find it an extraordinarily moving, exciting, terrifying, and ultimately satisfying thing. And I think above it, I've listened to this more than any other record this year, and I think that's the ultimate test, really, is which one do you keep putting on months after it's come out? Well, this one, and most of those others I mentioned as well, to be honest with you. So there you go. That's my top 10 albums of the year. Feel free to have your own opinions and to disagree with mine. That's okay. I won't be checking in to find out what you say. Thanks very much. And yeah, not long till Christmas, eh? Whoa!